Hey, we're somewhat back on the clock. It's Friday. We can be off the clock a little bit. Out of bounds, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. This is going to be a y'all lifestyle segment. It actually may be two segments because it's Friday. Some of you are getting the holidays kicked off today. Kids are out of school my kids don't even go to school next week. I mean, are you kidding me? Yeah, I went to school back in the 80s and 90s during Thanksgiving week. I think we went till Wednesday at noon or something. And then everybody headed out. But those little knuckleheads get to sleep next week while we get to do shows. But we are off Thursday and Friday. These two have been ripping and running since August, so they deserve some time off. That would be Drew and Jackson. You're listening to the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. You know that the y'all lifestyle is all about local food, having a great time. It's really an experience, whatever you're doing. It's usually centered around food and beverage and all that kind of stuff. And that's why we're super excited to welcome in Brian Eisenhood, friend of mine, awesome bartender, mixologist, who has just started his own company, which we used last week, and they did a great job, called the Southern Renaissance Cocktail Consulting and Catering. Plus, Brian's a big Chicago Cubs fan, and he made a couple of cocktails for us this morning. But first, Brian, how are you, buddy? Welcome in.
Good morning. I'm doing well, Bo. How are you today?
Well, I'm doing great. Second time in studio. You were here a couple months ago, made some great drinks. And by the way, thank you for last week.
Oh, it was a lot of fun. We really enjoyed coming out here.
Look, we had a great party, and I think that's going to be a big piece of your business that you're going to tell us about in a minute. But to have a fun private party and to bring in somebody who knows how to do some really cool cocktails is kind of what everybody's looking for today, whether it's at their work, which this is kind of work and play. As you know, we've got this big playground now. It's just an adult playground. Or people are throwing parties at their homes or whatever. But let's start off. Can we start off with the Four Roses drink that you just made?
Yeah, sounds great.
This thing, first of all, it's delicious.
Thank you.
And would you tell our listeners what all, let me show it on the camera, what all is in this Four Roses bourbon cocktail?
This is called the Old Figgy Fashion, and it's one of my signature cocktails. Basically, we take Four Roses bourbon. We add homemade fig, maple, vanilla bean syrup that really, every ingredient that's needed in that cocktail is in the syrup. And then we just top it off with a little sparkling mineral water. And it's a very simple drink to make. We take the Black Mission figs that we used in creating the syrup, and then we basically candy those and use those as the garnish.
And that's what's so much fun now that Thanksgiving is, a lot of people are going to take some good time next week. And the thing today is to see what all you can mix up, which has to be cool for you since you're in the business.
Oh, yeah, I love it.
And people will start celebrating Tuesday and Wednesday night, and then through the weekend, college football, NFL, food, and the pairings, I would have to believe, for you and for our listeners are fun today because people are doing all sorts of things. It's not just we're not in a vodka. I like a vodka tonic, but we're not in just a vodka tonic world anymore.
No, it's evolved so much, and with all the fresh produce and herbs that are available right here in this area with all the small local farms, it's a lot of fun to be able to play with the ingredients and come up with some different cocktails that are just delicious. And you can, create cocktails for every season, and it's just a lot of fun. And that's one thing that we really enjoy doing is to go into restaurants and help them build their cocktail menus and do seasonal menus because, Farm to Bar has been on the scene for a long time now, but I believe it's a lifestyle and not just a trend. And so, we really focus on taking the fresh herbs. One of my very good friends, Taylor Yowell, has the Garden Pharmacy. We do a lot of collaborating together.
He does a great job.
He's fantastic and best produce around, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So we use a lot of his stuff, all the fresh mint that we have in the Tito's cocktail. That's Taylor's. We'll be at the Ag Museum tonight collaborating with the Garden Pharmacy and Taylor Yowell doing some really cool cocktails.
Okay. So y'all have an event tonight?
We do. It's the Agricultural Summit tonight.
Nice.
Dinner starts at 6. It goes to 8 o'clock.
All right. Brian Eisenhood with us on the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 1059 The Zone. His company, Southern Renaissance Cocktail Consulting and Catering. Can I go back to the Four Roses real quick?
Absolutely.
Okay. Where did you come up? Tell me what this figgy vanilla thing again. What is that?
Well, I've always been a big fan of figs, and
They're great.
I just thought the combination of Black Mission figs, pairing with bourbon, especially this time of year in the fall, in the wintertime. And it was about this time of year that I did create this cocktail. I mean, during Christmas time, you cut a piece of fruitcake, pour yourself an old figgy fashion, take a little Four Roses, put over the fruitcake while you're sipping on your cocktail. It's just a really nice pairing. So I love the holidays. I'm a kid at heart, and being able to experiment and bring something a little unique and different into a home, whether it's hosting a family get together at my house, or whether it's hosting catering an event for 500 people. It's always a lot of fun to deliver something special.
So Brian Eisenhood on the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 1059 The Zone. Two fantastic cocktails here one with Four Roses bourbon, and the other one is the Conference Mule with Tito's handmade vodka. Before I get into that, tell me, for our listeners, what all you do with Southern Renaissance Cocktail Consulting and Catering.
Well, we can come into your business like we've come in here.
Right.
We can, we provide craft cocktail menus for events. We do wine, craft beer, you name it. When it comes to alcohol, we do it all. We can cater a party for as little as 25 people, and we can go up to 500 people.
Right.
So sky's the limit, and we really enjoy creating specific menus to go along with whatever theme you're having.
Yeah.
So if you're having a Great Gatsby event, we'll come up with some great Prohibition era cocktails.
Mad Men. There's all sorts of directions you can go. Like Boardwalk Empire, he was always holding that big, heavy rocks glass, and you're sitting there thinking, I can build a cocktail around that. I think that's what's so cool. All the TV series and HBO and Netflix series, it's like you can build little cocktail parties around those.
Oh, absolutely. And Nookie on Boardwalk Empire was rumored to always drink Four Roses.
I know, I love that guy. And that was before Four Roses was a partner, by the way. Hey, by the way, I got to go to Four Roses a few weeks ago, their distillery.
That's amazing.
It was awesome. I thought about you and several others in the biz. We're both in the entertainment business, and I had the opportunity to try 22-year-old 1994 Four Roses bourbon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was some of the best juice I've ever had in my life.
I can't even imagine.
I know, when the lady said, "Do you want to try the 1994?" I was like a kid, the night before Santa Claus comes when you're 8 years old. And then I had an opportunity to try the 2008 Marriage, which they claim on property, and they should know, is maybe the best juice they've ever had. They've since changed the name because people kept calling it Marriage. Hey, what, you got that bottle of Four Roses Marriage? But so they were like, Marriage didn't work. But anyway, and being around the master distiller, Brent Elliott, I thought about you as into mixology and cocktails as you're into, but it was a lot of fun. They took me down to the lab. Not everybody gets to go down there. Everybody has their own, connections in life. But let's talk Brian Eisenhood, Southern Renaissance Cocktail Consulting and Catering. Do you want to give either, it's up to you. You can give a number. I mean, we do numbers all the time of restaurants and retail stores. You can give a number or an email or whatever you're comfortable with. If some of our listeners are thinking, man, we would love to bring Brian or his team in and do something fun over the holidays or whenever throughout the year.
Sure. You can reach me on my phone number. My telephone number is 601-559-8565. I am on social media on Facebook at Southern Renaissance Cocktails Consulting and Catering, and Instagram at S Renaissance Cocktails.
Cool. The Conference Mule. We did this last Thursday night for the J Olive party.
Right.
Tell our listeners about this as they get ready for Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Well, this is going to be one of your exclusive signature cocktails that I made just for the
Yes.
Out of Bounds show.
Jackson's over there going, that's what I'm talking about.
Of course, we start with Tito's vodka. Then we just fresh squeezed lemon juice. And then this actually has a
it's wonderful.
Fuji apple mint syrup. And so we just add that, top it off with a little ginger beer. Very simple drink, but very delicious.
You scored on the ginger beer, by the way. I mean, that little, you had several cocktails going for us last week that included ginger beer, and I'd never thought of it. Boy, that's a nice little compliment, I guess, to, and again, I'm trying to go places I don't know a lot about, but that's a nice compliment to drinks, and I had no idea. Let me tell you what we did when Ameristar picked us up last Saturday from here because we had to go do an event over there. We mixed a drink here, and I was looking around. I was like, I don't know what all I have. And then I said, hey, Wendy, I have Tito's and ginger beer. And she went, so I mixed one real quick. She went, that tastes great.
That's
so
fantastic.
it was a great little road trip drink. We had a driver. Well, again, when Ameristar picked us up, but it was a great road trip drink. Ginger beer is a good call. I knew about ginger ale, but ginger beer is awesome.
Yeah, ginger beer just gives that little added kick, and I love ginger beer just by itself, and as a mixer in cocktails, it's absolutely wonderful.
All right, let's get to the important part is your business, but let's get to the Cubs. Give me 2 minutes on the Cubs. Chicago Cubs win the World Series for the first time since 1908. For our listeners, Brian Eisenhood is a big, big Chicago Cubs fan. And I was growing up. 1984 broke my heart when they're up 2-0 against the Padres and then lose. It killed me. I think that may have been the last time I cried over sports at 12 years old or 11, 11. What was it like to see them win 3 in a row, but then what were you just a basket case in Game 7? Especially once Joe Madden's brilliant, but he kept making the wrong moves in the last game, pitching-wise, and they were coming back to bite the Cubs, and then you had the rain delay. Tell me what you were going through.
Well, it was very stressful, to say the least. My wife is also a huge Cubs fan.
Fandom.
And we were, enjoying a couple of cocktails there at the house
yeah, you were.
to help us get through the drama. But it was magical. I'm a lifelong fan, and to watch them win the series in the way that they did, coming back and winning 3 straight, was just absolutely amazing. But very stressful, and we almost needed a vacation after the World Series because we were exhausted.
Final out, what'd you do? Just stand up and start going crazy?
I think we just went crazy. Our 2 dogs went and hid under the bed because we were just going so nuts, and it was just a moment. And I agree. I didn't agree with some of Joe Madden's moves he made, but
He's great baseball
he's
mind, great
awesome.
manager.
Oh, absolutely.
I wasn't,
But
just that night, all 3 moves that he made,
I agree,
backfired on the team, but the team was able to overcome.
Oh yeah.
Maybe the mismanagement, but no, he did a great job, and he's a brilliant guy. How many times have you been to Wrigley?
3 times, and we actually got to go this year. Watch them play the Dodgers,
Who they ended up having to beat to get to the World Series.
I know, and ended up beating.
You're down
Kershaw.
2-1 in that one,
right? So we saw them. They won
Crazy.
that on Memorial Day, and then on the same trip, we did go by and eat at the Billy Goat Tavern. So we take a little credit for helping remove the curse a little bit.
That's what I'm talking about. Brian Eisenhood on the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Kind enough to mix some great cocktails here. 4 Roses Bourbon, Tito's Handmade Vodka, and what's this 4 Roses? Figgy?
The Old Figgy Fashioned.
The Old Figgy Fashioned.
Right.
And then the Tito's is the Conference Mule.
The Conference Mule.
Okay. Before we let you go, who is your favorite player on the Chicago Cubs team currently? And then who's your favorite Chicago Cub of all time?
I got to tell you, I'm a big fan. They have a lot of young players on the team, but I'm an Anthony Rizzo guy. I like Rizzo.
What about that pelvic thrust that he's got going at the plate? First thing my wife notices, she sits down with me because she understands there's all this excitement in the house over the Cubs, and she's watching for a second. She goes, "Is that normal?" I'm dying out laughing. She goes, I'm sure he's a nice guy, but he needs to stop doing that. I'm just laughing. I'm like, it's the World Series. We just need a hit.
I think it's a tactic. I think he's trying to throw the pitcher
Yeah, he's
off.
throwing the pitcher off. He's got. I think they should. His nickname should be Pelvic Thrust. But what a great player and a young player for the Chicago Cubs. Okay, my favorite player all time is Lee Smith.
Oh,
All right.
definitely.
I could guess who yours is. He may have played second base, but maybe that's not him. Who's your favorite Cub of all time?
Got to go with Ryan Sandberg.
Yeah.
He's just
Unbelievable player.
unbelievable player, unbelievable on and off the field, stand-up guy. That takes me back to the '80s and
Me
listening
too.
to Harry Carey announce those games, and it was just actually helped me grow into a young adult. Listening to those guys and watching those players.
Carey was so good. It's great. All right, well, thank you so much for coming in today.
Really enjoyed being on your show. Thank you for having me.
And now, one more time, Southern Renaissance Cocktail Consulting and Catering, and the number is
601-559-8565. You can email me at srenaissancecocktails@gmail.com.
There we go. Brian Eisenhood in the house. We appreciate him joining us. We'll take a break, and you're listening to ESPN 105.9.